Kate has agreed to a deal in London. These 7 chilling words, buried within a newly unearthed email from Prince Andrew to the late, disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, have sent shockwaves through the corridors of Buckingham Palace and left the British public in a state of absolute disbelief. It is a revelation that no one saw coming, a haunting ghost from the past that threatens to tarnish the most beloved member of the modern monarchy. Hello, dear viewers, and thank you for joining us for this deep dive into a developing story that is as complex as it is troubling. Before we unravel the layers of this high-stakes royal drama, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Your support allows us to continue bringing you the most detailed and accurate analysis of the events shaping our world today. For years, many believed that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was the one figure in the royal family who remained truly untouchable, a beacon of grace and stability amidst a sea of scandals. However, the release of a fresh batch of documents by the United States Department of Justice has shattered that illusion of safety. Within these files lies a December 2010 email exchange that has reignited a firestorm of controversy surrounding the Duke of York, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and his ties to a dark, international web of influence. The email in question was sent by Prince Andrew to Jeffrey Epstein during the final month of 2010. The subject line was brief, but ominous. Troublesome one. Inside the message, the Duke wrote the sentence that is now being analyzed by legal experts and royal biographers across the globe. Kate has agreed to a deal in London. While the email does not explicitly state the last name of the woman in question, the timing and the phrasing have led to a frenzy of speculation. In December 2010, the eyes of the entire world were fixed on another Kate, Kate Middleton, who had just announced her engagement to Prince William only weeks prior. Sky News, which was among the first to break the details of this correspondence, noted that without further context within the specific email chain, it remains officially unclear who the Duke was referring to. Could it have been a member of his own staff? A mutual acquaintance in the high society circles of London? Or, as many fear, was Andrew attempting to leverage the name or the burgeoning popularity of his nephew's fiancée to further his own standing with Epstein? The ambiguity is, in itself, a weapon that critics of the monarchy are now using with devastating efficiency. Perhaps even more disturbing than the mention of Kate is the manner in which Andrew concluded this particular message. He reportedly signed off by telling Epstein, "Wish I was still a pet in your family." For a senior member of the British royal family to refer to himself as a pet, to a man who would later be exposed as a prolific sex offender, is a detail that many find impossible to stomach. It suggests a level of intimacy and subservience that contradicts the dignity expected of a prince of the realm. It paints a picture of a man who was not merely an acquaintance of Epstein, but someone who felt a deep, perhaps even desperate, need to be part of his inner sanctum. To understand the gravity of this situation, we must look back at the landscape of 2010. It was supposed to be a golden era for the Windsors. Prince William and Catherine were the young, glamorous couple who were going to save the monarchy's reputation after the turbulent decades that preceded them. Their engagement was a moment of national celebration. Yet, behind the scenes, it appears the Duke of York was maintaining a correspondence with a man whose name would eventually become synonymous with the darkest corners of human behavior. The implications of this email are twofold. First, there is the question of what deal was being discussed. In the world of high finance and international influence that Epstein inhabited, deals were the currency of power. If Andrew was indeed discussing the future Princess of Wales, what could he possibly have been suggesting? Many experts believe it is highly unlikely that Catherine herself had any direct involvement or even knowledge of this exchange. Instead, the prevailing theory is that Andrew may have been name-dropping to inflate his own importance in Epstein's eyes, using the most popular woman in the world at that time as a pawn in his personal power games. However, the Kate mentioned could also refer to a variety of other individuals. Some have suggested it might refer to a socialite or a member of the Epstein circle who happened to share the name. But in the court of public opinion, the damage is already being done. On social media, critics and trolls who have long targeted the royal family are having a field day. They are using this lack of clarity to launch coordinated attacks against the Princess of Wales, attempting to link her, however tenuously, to the Epstein scandal. This is the toxic element that many royal insiders have feared, that Andrew's past would eventually act as a poison, seeping into the lives of the innocent members of the family. The reaction from within the palace, particularly from Prince William, is said to be one of controlled but absolute fury. Sources close to the Prince of Wales suggest that he views this as the ultimate betrayal. William has spent his entire adult life protecting Catherine from the intrusions of the press and the shadows of the past. To have his own uncle mention her name in a correspondence with a man like Jeffrey Epstein is, for William, the last straw. There are reports that the Prince of Wales is now more determined than ever to ensure that the Duke of York remains entirely sidelined from royal life, viewing him not just as a disgraced relative, but as a direct threat to the future of the crown. On October 17, 2025, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor issued a formal statement through his legal representatives. In this statement, he vigorously denied any wrongdoing and reiterated his previous claims that he had no knowledge of the crimes committed by Epstein. He has consistently maintained that his association with the financier was a mistake, but one that did not involve any illegal acts on his part. Yet, as each new document is unsealed by the U.S. Department of Justice, his defense becomes harder to maintain in the eyes of a skeptical public. The 2025 statement was seen by many as an attempt at damage control, but the Kate email has proven to be a fire that cannot be easily extinguished. We must also consider the context of the U.S. Department of Justice's involvement. The release of these documents, which also included a photograph of Prince Andrew with an unidentified woman, is part of a broader, ongoing effort to bring transparency to the Epstein case and provide closure for the victims. While being mentioned or pictured in these files does not automatically indicate criminal behavior or moral failing, the association alone is enough to ruin reputations. For the royal family, which relies on the soft power of prestige and moral authority, these associations are catastrophic. The tragedy of this situation lies in the contrast between the two figures. On one hand, you have Catherine, who has worked tirelessly to build a legacy of service, focusing on early childhood development and mental health. She is the future queen, a woman who has navigated the pressures of royal life with a level of perfection that is almost unprecedented. On the other hand, you have Prince Andrew, whose legacy is now inextricably linked to one of the greatest scandals of the 21st century. Experts in royal history suggest that this crisis is deeper than any that have come before. It isn't just about Andrew's past actions, it's about the toxicity he brings to the future. As long as he remains a part of the family circle, even in a private capacity, he remains a liability. The Kate email proves that no one is safe from the fallout of his associations. If his presence can lead to the trolling and questioning of a woman as respected as the Princess of Wales, then the institution must ask itself, can they afford to keep him in the fold at all? The phrase, "wish I was still a pet in your family," continues to haunt the discussion. It suggests a man who was willing to diminish himself, to trade his dignity for access to a world of wealth and influence that Epstein provided. It is a far cry from the image of the hero of the Falklands that Andrew once cultivated. For the audience who remembers the prince in his younger years, this decline is particularly jarring. It represents a collapse of character that is difficult to reconcile with the traditions of the British monarchy. As we look toward the future, the question remains, what will King Charles do? The king is in a difficult position, balancing his role as a father and brother with his duty as the sovereign. However, with Prince William's reported stance being one of total zero tolerance, the path forward seems clear. The monarchy must protect its most valuable assets, William and Catherine, at all costs. If that means a total and permanent severance of ties with the Duke of York, then that is the price that must be paid. The release of these documents is likely not the end of the story. There are thousands more pages, more emails, and more testimonies that may yet see the light of day. Each one is a potential landmine for the Windsors. But this specific mention of Kate has changed the nature of the conflict. It has moved the scandal from the periphery of the family directly into its heart. It has targeted the person who represents the very best of what the monarchy can be. The public's reaction has been a mixture of anger and protective loyalty toward the Princess of Wales. While the social media trolls continue their work, the vast majority of people recognize that Catherine is an innocent party in this mess. However, the fact that she has to be defended at all is a testament to the damage Andrew has caused. He has given the enemies of the crown a weapon, and they are using it with precision. In conclusion, this email from December 2010 is more than just a piece of old correspondence. It is a window into a world of poor judgment and dangerous associations. It reminds us that the actions of one individual can have long-lasting, unforeseen consequences for an entire institution. Prince Andrew's insistence on his innocence may hold up in a court of law, but in the court of history and public opinion, the Kate email may be the piece of evidence that finally seals his fate. He is no longer just a man with a troubled past. He is a man who is toxic to the future of the British monarchy. We want to hear from you. What do you make of this shocking revelation? Do you believe the Kate mentioned in the email is indeed the Princess of Wales? Or is this a case of mistaken identity being exploited by the media? And more importantly, do you think Prince William is right to take such a hard line against his uncle to protect his wife's reputation? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We value your perspective and look forward to a respectful and engaging discussion. If you found this analysis informative, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with others who follow the royal family. It is through these discussions that we can better understand the complexities of the world's most famous family. Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth reports and breaking news updates. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned as we continue to monitor this developing story. We will be here to bring you the facts, the context, and the analysis you won't find anywhere else. Until next time, take care.